Poland is not east or west. Poland is at the center of European civilization. It has contributed mightily to that civilization. It is doing so today by being magnificently unreconciled to oppression. These words by Ronald Reagan perfectly capture the essence of a country that stands as a bridge across eras and ideologies. Imagine a land where medieval castles rise beside vibrant urban streets, where centuries of struggle have forged a profound heritage of resilience, culture, and freedom. Poland's story is written in its cobbled squares, Baroque churches, and lush landscapes stretching from the Baltic shores to the Tatra Mountains. In cities like Krakow or Gdansk, each stone echoes 1,000 years of history, royalty, and rebellion, art and architecture, sorrow and renaissance. Yet beyond the monuments lies the heartbeat of its people, the warmth of traditions, customs that celebrate life, and a spirit that has never bowed to injustice. Modern Poland pulses with creativity and progress. Warsaw blossoms as a dynamic capital, blending reconstruction and innovation, while cities like Wrocław and Poznan thrive with youthful energy and modern artistry. Against a backdrop of historic endurance, Poland today is both guardian of its past and architect of its future. Its people speak with pride, its culture shines, and its presence commands the heart of Europe. So let us step into Poland with open minds and open hearts, into a nation woven from resilience, culture, and hope. As we prepare to explore further, I ask you, which facet of Poland, its storied history, vibrant traditions, or modern spirit will capture your imagination first? What if a city was built around water so gracefully that it feels like a symphony in motion? That's Bydgoszcz, often called the Venice of Poland, where the Buda and Vistula rivers embrace canals, bridges, and waterfront boulevards. Once a vital trading hub, the city still shows off its riverside granaries, centuries-old wooden giants standing like guardians of history. Today, their dark silhouettes blend with sleek glass architecture, proof that Bydgoszcz has mastered the art of mixing heritage with modern rhythm. But Bydgoszcz isn't only about history, it sings, literally, The city is Poland's hidden musical capital, home to the Pomeranian Philharmonic and the Academy of Music, where concerts spill from grand halls into open-air festivals. Jazz thrives here too, giving the riverbanks a playful soundtrack. Locals like to say that in Bydgoszcz, even the water hums along with the orchestra. Add in charming Art Nouveau, townhouses, and leafy parks, and the city feels like a melody written in bricks, notes, and ripples of the river. Of course, food here deserves applause too. Bydgoszcz mixes hearty Polish flavors with regional specialties like pierogi stuffed with mushrooms or local freshwater fish. The city's markets brim with honey, bread, and sausages, echoing centuries of trade. But perhaps the sweetest surprise is Bydgoszcz water. Not a drink, but a phrase locals use to describe the sparkling atmosphere along the Burda River. Sit at a cafe terrace, taste traditional cheesecake, and you'll see why travelers often linger longer than planned. What if a city could tell you the story of Europe just by walking its streets? That's Gdansk, perched on the Baltic coast, a port where history, trade, and resilience flow like tides. Once a proud member of the Hanseatic League, its waterfront still dazzles with Gothic warehouses and colorful facades. The Long Market feels like a stage set, with Neptune's fountain guarding centuries of seafaring tales. In Gdansk, every cobblestone seems to carry both salt from the sea and whispers from merchants long gone. But here's the twist. Gdansk is not only old grandeur, it's the birthplace of modern freedom. In 1980, the Solidarity movement, led by shipyard workers and Lech Wałęsa, sparked a wave that eventually toppled communism across Eastern Europe. The European Solidarity Center now stands as both museum and memorial, where visitors sense how courage in one shipyard changed the world's map. This dual identity, merchant past and revolutionary spirit, makes Gdansk less a city and more a living chapter of Europe's conscience. Of course, the sea is never far away. The Motwawa River quayside buzzes with cafes, amber shops, and the iconic medieval crane once used to load cargo, now a proud museum. Amber, the Baltic gold, is Gdansk's signature. Legends say it holds drops of sun trapped in stone. Stroll along the waterfront, and you'll see sailors, students, and tourists alike sharing the same salty breeze. The city feels like an endless dialogue with the sea, sometimes roaring, sometimes whispering, but always present. And then there's architecture. Gdansk looks like it borrowed colors from a painter's palette. The Green Gate, Golden Gate, and Artist Court line the royal way like ornaments from different eras, stitched into harmony. World War II left scars, yet the city painstakingly rebuilt, proving beauty can rise from rubble. Today, its skyline is a patchwork of Gothic, Renaissance, and Baroque, with modern glass towers politely joining the chorus. Few cities manage to turn survival itself into an architectural style, but Gdansk does it with flair. What if paradise was hiding behind a mischievous name? Welcome to the Hel Peninsula, a narrow ribbon of sand stretching 35 kilometers into the Baltic Sea. At its slimmest point, it's barely 200 meters wide, so you can practically watch the sun rise over one shore and set over the other without moving far. Once a quiet fishing area, Hel has transformed into Poland's seaside playground, where beaches shimmer, kite surfers dance with the wind, and the air tastes like salt and freedom. But Hel isn't only about beaches, it has a wild heart too. Pine forests fringe the peninsula, alive with birdsong and trails leading to dunes and lighthouses. The Hel Lighthouse, rising 40 meters, has guided sailors since the 1940s and rewards climbers with views where sea and sky melt into each other. And then there's the Seal Sanctuary, where rescued Baltic seals wobble and splash, reminding visitors that this sandy finger isn't just a playground for humans, it's a haven for wildlife as well. History also left its footprints here. During World War II, Hel was heavily fortified and became one of the last strongholds of Polish resistance in 1939. Bunkers and batteries still dot the landscape, half hidden by sand and pine, whispering stories of defiance. Today, they serve as open-air museums where families stroll through tunnels once meant for soldiers. It's a curious blend, sunbathers lying on beaches, while just meters away, relics of war stand silently, as if reminding everyone that paradise was once defended with grit. Food here is an adventure of its own. Local eateries serve herring in every possible style, pickled, fried, or smoked alongside fresh cod and shrimp straight from the Baltic. Strolling the boardwalk with a paper cone of fried fish is almost a rite of passage for visitors. Fishermen once fueled the town's livelihood. Now they fuel its flavors, proving that Hel's spirit is tied as much to the sea's bounty as to its breezes. It's not fancy dining, but it's honest, delicious, and perfectly salted by the sea. What if a mountain town felt like the gateway to legends? That's Karpacz, nestled at the foot of Śnieżka, the highest peak in the Karkonosze Mountains. Once a humble village of shepherds and miners, today it's a beloved resort where hikers, skiers, and dreamers all meet. Trails weave upward into misty ridges, while in winter, slopes sparkle with snow like powdered sugar. Locals like to say that in Karpacz, the mountains don't just surround you, they invite you, pulling you gently into their myths and mysteries. And then there's the Wang Church, yes, a Norwegian stave church from the 13th century, transported here, piece by piece, in the 1800s. Its dragon-headed carvings stand proudly against the Polish mountains, as if Viking spirits decided to settle in Silesia. Visitors marvel at its woodwork, while couples choose it for weddings, turning history into romance. Around it, alpine gardens and mountain air combine to make you forget the world beyond. It's proof that Karpacz isn't just scenic, it's eclectic, mixing Nordic roots with Polish soul. Legends linger thick in these mountains. Tales of Lichizepa, the spirit of the Karkonoshi, speak of a ruler who could summon storms or kindness at will. Locals say his shadow still hides in caves and ridges, testing those who wander too boldly. Beyond myths, Karpacz is also a hub of wellness spas, mineral waters, and mountain retreats draw those seeking calm. Whether you chase folklore, ski slopes, or simply peace, the town offers all three in generous measure, wrapped in alpine charm. What if a city could reinvent itself completely, swapping coal dust for culture? That's Katowice, once the industrial powerhouse of Silesia, now a modern hub of music and design. Its skyline still hints at mines and factories, but today glass towers and creative spaces shine just as brightly. Walking through Nikiszowiec, a workers' housing district of red brick charm, you sense the echoes of coal miners alongside cafes and galleries. Katowice doesn't erase its past, it remixes it, turning heavy industry into heritage with a fresh beat. And here's the surprise, Katowice is Poland's music capital. The city proudly holds a UNESCO title as a creative city of music, hosting festivals from jazz to electronic beats. The Spodek Arena, shaped like a flying saucer, is both concert hall and local icon, glowing like a spaceship that landed to party. Jazz clubs spill rhythm into the night, while orchestras elevate the city's cultural score. Locals say that in Katowice, you don't just hear music, you live inside it, with every street offering its own playlist. Yet Katowice isn't all steel and sound. It also surprises with green escapes. Silesian Park, one of Europe's largest urban parks, spreads with lakes, gardens, and even an amusement park. Families ride cable cars, while students picnic under shady trees, a gentle counterpoint to the city's industrial image. Add modern museums like the Silesian Museum, built into a former mine shaft, and you see how Katowice blends leisure and learning. It's a reminder that cities can soften their edges without losing their character. What if a village looked like it was designed by painters for painters? That's Kazimierz Dolny, perched along the Vistula River in eastern Poland. With its whitewashed houses, Renaissance facades, and cobbled market square, the town feels like an open-air canvas. Artists have flocked here for centuries, drawn by the soft light that seems to linger over rooftops and meadows. Even today, easels line the streets, proof that in Kazimierz Dolny, inspiration is as common as fresh bread. It's a place where beauty insists on being noticed. But art is only part of the story. Kazimierz Dolny was once a wealthy trade town, where grain merchants grew rich shipping goods down the Vistula. Their fortunes built ornate granaries, some still standing as silent monuments. The parish church, with its striking Renaissance interior, whispers of that prosperity. Yet despite the grandeur, the town has always kept a gentle soul, more village than the city, more retreat than marketplace. Visitors often say, it feels like time slowed here, pausing politely for you to catch your breath. And then there are the hills. Climb up to the ruins of the old castle or the Three Crosses Hill, and you're rewarded with sweeping views of the river winding lazily below. Legends say the crosses protect the town from plague, but they also serve as quiet guardians of sunsets that paint the valley in gold. Nature here is gentle but insistent. Ravines cut into soft loess soil, forests hum with birds, and wildflowers sneak into every frame. Kazimierz Dolny proves landscape can be as much poetry as scenery. Food here has its own story. Markets brim with honey, cheese, and cherries from nearby orchards. A local favorite is cebulars, a flatbread topped with onions and poppy seeds, best enjoyed hot from the oven. Cafes spill into the square, where conversations last as long as cups of coffee. And then there's the annual bread festival, where bakers parade loaves shaped like birds, flowers, or entire villages. In Kazimierz Dolny, food is less about eating quickly and more about savoring tradition, one bite at a time. town also carries traces of its Jewish heritage. Before World War II, Kazimierz Dolny had a vibrant Jewish community, whose synagogue and cemetery remain as reminders of a life once rich with culture. Today, exhibitions and festivals honor that memory, blending it with the town's artistic present. It's a place where history doesn't vanish, it lingers, woven into songs, paintings, and whispered stories. That depth of memory gives Kazimierz Dolny a soul larger than its size, making every visit feel both joyful and contemplative. What if a city could wear a crown and still feel like a friend? That's Krakow, Poland's former royal capital, nestled on the banks of the Vistula River. Its old town, with the grand Rynek Główny Square, is one of Europe's largest medieval marketplaces, alive with horse carriages, street musicians, and cafes under Gothic arcades. The Cloth Hall still buzzes with merchants as it did centuries ago, while St. Mary's Basilica interrupts every hour with a trumpet call. Krakow doesn't just preserve history, it lets it breathe in daily rhythm. And then there's Wawel Castle, perched on its hill like a jewel in stone. Once the seat of Polish kings, it dazzles with Renaissance courtyards, royal chambers, and the cathedral where monarchs were crowned. Legends swirl around it too. The Dragon of Wawel, said to lurk in caves below, still roars in fire-breathing statues for children's delight. Visiting the castle feels like stepping into a fairy tale that somehow survived the centuries intact. It's not just a monument, it's Poland's crown, still gleaming under the sun. Krakow isn't trapped in royal past. It's a city of intellect and youth. The Jagiellonian University, founded in 1364, once hosted scholars like Copernicus. Today, students fill cafes, giving the medieval streets a youthful pulse. Kazimierz, the old Jewish quarter, hums with galleries, synagogues, and music spilling from bohemian bars. It's a district where heritage and hipster energy shake hands, proving Krakow thrives not by freezing in time, but by remixing it. History here doesn't sit in museums, it dances in the streets. food? Krakow knows how to feed both body and soul. Try obwazanek, the city's signature bagel-like bread, sold warm from street carts. Pierogi dumplings come stuffed with everything from mushrooms to sweet cheese, while Bydgoszcz soup glows red with beets. In Kazimierz, Jewish and Polish flavors intertwine, with challah bread sharing tables with Polish sausages. Cafes overflow with conversations fueled by coffee and cakes. Dining here isn't just eating, it's joining a centuries-old banquet that keeps evolving with every generation. What if a lake looked like it had stolen a piece of the sky? That's Morskie Oko, the largest and most famous lake in Poland's Tatra Mountains. Surrounded by rugged granite peaks that plunge dramatically into turquoise water, it feels like nature's amphitheater. The name means Eye of the Sea, a nod to ancient tales that the lake was once connected by tunnels to distant oceans. Whether myth or not, standing here feels otherworldly-like. The mountains leaned in close just to admire their own reflection. The journey here is part of the magic. A scenic trail leads from Zakopane through forests and streams, often with horse-drawn carriages for those who prefer tradition over hiking boots. As you ascend, the air grows crisper, and suddenly the lake appears, framed like a jewel in stone. In summer, hikers circle its shore before climbing higher peaks. In winter, the lake freezes into a mirror of ice and silence. No wonder poets, painters, and travelers alike have long treated Morskie Oko as Poland's natural cathedral. What if paradise came with 1,000 reflections? That's Masuria, the famous land of 1,000 lakes in northeastern Poland. In truth, there are more than 2,000, stitched together by rivers and canals like a shimmering quilt of water. Sailboats drift lazily across the glassy surfaces, while fishermen cast lines from wooden piers. Villages with red-tiled roofs peek out between birch and pine, as if drawn straight from a pastoral painting. In Masuria, water isn't scenery, it's the heartbeat of daily life. But lakes are just the beginning. Forests here stretch endlessly, alive with elk, wolves, and birdsong. Kayakers weave through channels, discovering hidden coves where time seems to pause. In summer, campers pitch tents on sandy shores. In autumn, mushroom pickers wander the woods with baskets in hand. Winters freeze the lakes into sparkling arenas for skating and ice sailing. Masuria is a four-season playground, proving nature doesn't need amusement parks when it already owns the best rides. History left its footprints here too. Masuria once lay at the crossroads of Prussia and Poland, leaving behind castles, old churches, and memories of shifting borders. During World War II, this region housed the infamous Wolf's Lair, Hitler's wartime headquarters, now a haunting ruin reclaimed by moss and silence. Yet rather than dwell on darkness, Masuria has learned to balance remembrance with renewal. Travelers come for both reflection and escape, discovering that beauty and memory can share the same horizon. What if a village felt like a captain's dream? That's Mikolajki, a small town in Masuria known as the sailing capital of Poland. Nestled between two great lakes, it hums with the clink of masts and the laughter of holidaymakers. In summer, yachts line the harbor like elegant swans, and regattas fill the water with fluttering sails. Streets brim with cafes and ice cream stands, while the air carries a mix of sunscreen and lake breeze. Mikolajki is less a destination than a mood light, playful and always drifting with the wind. But Mikolajki isn't only for sailors, it charms families too. Cycle paths weave through forests, while kayaks slip into quiet coves where swans glide. The Tropicana water park adds a splash of fun, proving the town knows how to entertain on land as well as lake. Local inns serve fresh fish pike, perch, or whitefish straight from nearby waters. And when the sun sets, taverns glow with music, their wooden beams echoing laughter late into the night. Mikolajki has mastered the art of turning simple days into holiday memories. Legends even ripple through these waters. Locals tell tales of the King of the Lakes, a mythical figure said to guard sailors and punish the reckless. Whether you believe or not, the shimmering waves at dusk make it easy to imagine hidden spirits watching from beneath. Festivals add to the magic. The August sailor's holiday draws crowds with concerts, fireworks, and boats lit like floating lanterns. In Mikolajki, reality and folklore blend so smoothly that visitors feel part of a story still being written on the waves. What if relaxation had a capital? That would be Sopot, Poland's most famous seaside resort, tucked between Gdansk and Gdynia. Known for its long sandy beach and Europe's longest wooden pier, Sopot has drawn health seekers and holidaymakers since the 19th century. Strolling the pier feels like walking straight into the horizon, where sea and sky blend like watercolor. Elegant villas line leafy streets, once hosting aristocrats who came for the healing spas. Today, Sopot still whispers the same promise: rest, elegance, and a salty breeze. But Sopot isn't just about gentle strolls, it knows how to party. The Forest Opera Amphitheatre, nestled among trees, hosts world-class concerts from opera to pop. Each summer, the Sopot International Song Festival transforms the town into Poland's stage, echoing with music under the stars. Monte Cassino Street, affectionately called Monciak, buzzes with cafes, bars, and the famous Crooked House, whose wavy walls look like architecture, had a sense of humor. By day, it's charming. By night, it's a symphony of lights and laughter. Of course, wellness is still Sopot's soul. The spa tradition lives on in modern resorts, offering mineral baths, saunas, and therapies with sea salt and algae. Locals say the iodine-rich air itself is a cure, which may explain why walks on the pier feel so refreshing. Families picnic on the beach, while kite surfers ride the waves just offshore. Few places blend health and fun so effortlessly. Sopot proves you can chase vitality and pleasure on the very same shoreline without ever needing to choose. What if a city could taste as sweet as it looks? That's Torun, perched on the banks of the Vistula River and famed for its gingerbread as much as its Gothic skyline. Founded by the Teutonic Knights in the 13th century, its old town still glows with red brick churches, medieval gates, and winding alleys that look unchanged for centuries. At the market square, the statue of Copernicus Torun's most famous son reminds visitors that this city once gave the world a man who dared to move the sun. But Torun doesn't live only in the past. It thrives on starlight. The planetarium and observatory celebrate Copernicus's legacy, inviting visitors to explore galaxies just as he once reimagined the cosmos. At night, the town's spires glow under constellations, blurring history with astronomy. Festivals like Bella Skyway turn streets into open-air light shows, proving Torun is as playful as it is profound. It's a rare city where you can study medieval walls by day and touch the stars, metaphorically by night. And then, of course, there's gingerbread, the city's most delicious ambassador. Recipes date back to the Middle Ages, spiced with honey and tradition. Shops brim with cookies shaped like hearts, angels, or even tiny towers of Torun itself. Locals say gingerbread isn't just a treat, it's history you can taste. Pair it with a stroll along Boulevard Philadelphijski, the riverside promenade, and you'll understand why Torun feels like a feast for every sense: sight, sound, and especially taste. Yet Torun is also surprisingly youthful. Students from Nicholas Copernicus University fill cafes with chatter, lending the medieval streets a fresh rhythm. Street performers juggle, play violins, or paint, turning corners into little stages. The mix of Gothic grandeur and student laughter makes the city feel timeless, where every generation leaves its mark. Torun shows that heritage doesn't have to be heavy. It can be light, lively, and welcoming, inviting visitors to step into history without ever feeling weighed down. What if a capital city could rise like a phoenix? That's Warsaw, Poland's vibrant heart, rebuilt almost entirely after World War II. Walk through the old town, and you'd never guess it was reduced to rubble-colorful facades, cobblestone squares, and the royal castle all stand proudly, thanks to painstaking reconstruction. UNESCO even declared it a World Heritage Site, not for ancient walls, but for the courage to recreate them. Warsaw's old town isn't just history preserved, it's history reborn with stubborn grace. But Warsaw isn't frozen in nostalgia. It's a modern metropolis pulsing with energy. Sleek skyscrapers rise beside socialist-era blocks, while the Palace of Culture and Science looms like both a gift and a challenge from the Soviet past. Cafes brim with students, business towers hum with startups, and the Vistula boulevards turn Riverside into a playground of bikes, bars, and concerts. The city feels like an orchestra where tradition, ambition, and rebellion play in the same score, sometimes clashing, always captivating. Culture thrives here too. The Friedrich Chopin Museum celebrates the city's most poetic sun, while street murals turn grey walls into splashes of color. Warsaw Uprising Museum tells the heroic tragic story of 1944, where citizens rose against impossible odds. Meanwhile, parks like Łazienki offer swans, palaces, and open-air concerts under ancient oaks. From high art to street art, solemn memory to playful creativity, Warsaw refuses to be one-dimensional. It insists on being as layered as the lives it shelters. What if a town wore a winter coat year-round? That's Zakopane, Poland's mountain capital, sitting proudly at the foot of the Tatra Mountains. Known as the winter capital of Poland, it has long been a playground for skiers, hikers, and dreamers who crave alpine air. Wooden chalets with steep roofs line the streets, while horse-drawn sleighs jingle through snowy lanes in winter. Even in summer, Zakopane hums with energy as visitors swap skis for hiking boots and climb toward peaks where clouds like to linger. But Zakopane isn't just about sports, it's about style too. The town is famous for its Zakopane-style architecture, a blend of traditional wooden Highlander huts with ornate carvings and fairy tale charm. Walk down Kropowski Street and you'll find markets buzzing with sheepskin rugs, carved souvenirs, and the irresistible smell of ossipek, the local smoked cheese grilled and served with cranberry jam. The whole scene feels like a marketplace and folk festival rolled into one, where shopping is as much about atmosphere as it is about souvenirs. And then there's the music Zakopane beats to a Highlander rhythm. The Gorale people, with their vibrant costumes and fiddles, bring the mountains alive with dances that echo through taverns. Evenings often end with bonfires, violins and stomping boots, turning the night into a celebration of resilience and joy. The culture is as sharp and spirited as the mountain peaks themselves. For many, this is the true soul of Zakopane. Not just slopes and chalets, but a community where tradition still sings as loudly as the wind. Nature, of course, is Zakopane's greatest stage. From here, trails lead to Morskie Oko, Poland's most famous lake, or to Kasprowy Wiek, where cable cars reveal sweeping vistas. In winter, slopes glisten with skiers. In spring, meadows bloom with crocuses, painting the valleys purple. Wildlife thrives too. Lynx, bears, and chamois quietly patrol the forests. For travelers, Zakopane is less a town and more a base camp for wonder, where every path seems to end in a postcard view.